Hello, this is Aoife Dean and this is the Happy Weight Podcast. Today I'm going over 5 simple rules for permanent weight loss. So if you're like me, maybe you do not want to be a dieter the rest of your life. Maybe you do not want to be obsessing about calories and checking the scales all the time. Maybe you want to be normal. Maybe you have a few slim friends who've never dieted or don't diet, and you literally eat in restaurants with them and they order normal food and they're not on diets and they don't obsess and they seem really bored when people talk about dieting, and yet they are a healthy weight. So I think that is the Mecca. That is the Holy Grail, or at least it was for me anyways. So if that is something you are interested in, also stay tuned, because I want to share I suppose my experience of all of this, learning what worked for me, what works now with clients that I teach this way of living and eating and treating yourself. So first thing, let's begin with the basics. You can be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. So let's remove the need to give out about your body. You do not need to do that. That is not moving you further ahead. If anything, it is putting you behind, because we don't take good care of things we don't like. Like, even if you've belongings that you really love, you really value, you probably mind them a lot better than stuff that, I don't know, is your partner's or you don't like it or whatever. So we want to, what's that word? Reverse engineer. We want to reverse engineer results. So it's very much easier to take better care of our body on average 24/7 if we actually care about it. So often when our eating goes careless, careless eating, I think, is the worst type of eating. It's not memorable, it's not enjoyable. We're kind of gone despondent about our weight. We just kind of don't care anymore. And then so we're housing a lot of foods that we weren't present for, we weren't enjoying, all because we were maybe a little bit fed up of where we were. So this is why I kind of think that knowing where you are is perfect for today. And your body deserves to be respected. It deserves to be treated well. And it deserves for you to help it reach its potential. Therefore, it's a masterpiece, and it can be a work in progress as well as you work towards figuring out how to move closer to reaching your potential. So that's I think what we need to wake up in the morning and remember every day, that we are the finished product and we're reaching our potential at the same time. Okay, so the next one is, it's always your choice how to react to things and how to frame things. So for me, just running out of options as I was trying to, figure out my eating and weight, it became very important to start seeing things as building on past experience, building on past learnings. Because if you're always bringing yourself back to square one, if you really kind of have entertained that narrative that here I am back at square one, and that's another big mistake, focusing on weight. Because technically our weight could have gone up, but we might be a wildly better, more positive, normal eater than we have been ever. And then a blip might have come or a holiday might have come, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we've been a kind of way more positive eater and, a way more positive approach to our body than we have ever in our lifetime. So there's nothing that could take you back to square one. And I think that if you choose to learn a lesson, if you choose to learn, so that thing works for other people and it actually makes me hungrier, or it actually makes me binge, or it actually makes me feel bad about my body. Okay, that's great. That's a process of elimination. It's kind of like dating or whatever. You want to weed out the bad ones quickly. And it's the same with kind of all our efforts to do with either our mood or exercise or eating. We want to weed out anything that causes our mood to get worse, anything that increases our overeating. And it doesn't matter how popular it is, how founded it is in science or whatever. If it makes us eat more, if it makes us feel bad about where we currently are in our journey, we need to eliminate that. So I would say, regardless of your weight, it's always a decision to see that you have learned a lot, and that all of the years of, no matter how long you've struggled, no matter how many diets you've done, it's actually a decision to say, I'm not at square one. I couldn't possibly be at square one. I've actually learned a lot what doesn't work for me. And so I think that's a really empowering thing. And also how our head could be in a different place to our body. Like how I saw it for me anyway, is that like, I'm going to decide to be a slim person in my mind, and my body's just going to have to catch up. And yeah, it's going to be slow because your body is busy doing other things, like making sure your heart is working and making sure, like your muscles and your organs and your IQ and everything. Like your body is always going to prioritize optimal functioning. So it's not going to be its number one job to just lose a ton of weight overnight. Like that wouldn't be healthy. That wouldn't be normal. So we just have to have a lot of trust that as we are acting, reacting, choosing, eating, talking, sounding like, feeling in our clothes like someone who loves their body or is a slim person, our body is going to have to follow suit. So then I think another major thing is that I suppose our physical pain of gaining weight, right? I'm going to slow down actually, because I'm like, okay, I don't know, is this on speed 2 for you, or are you listening to this on slow? But my God, I feel like I've said a lot of things already. So it's looking like this maybe won't be a long podcast, but anyway, okay, I'm going to chill out now and I'm going to talk a bit slower. So yeah, right. I would say there's a super small number of clients I've ever worked with that are like, say, they can't attend, say, school or college because of their body, because of their physical body. They're on bed rest or something. I've had maybe 1 or 2 clients ever who couldn't close a seatbelt on a plane or something like that. So basically my point is, I've not had a lot of clients who couldn't work because of their weight, or couldn't drive a car, or, couldn't do daily functions because of their body. However, most of my clients, I would say, how their day runs is hampered by the psychological distress of thinking about calories and weight and your body all day long. So I think that's really something to kind of remember or isolate, that your body per se is not the problem, and it certainly isn't the biggest symptom that you have eating and weight issues. The biggest symptom would be how often you're thinking about calories and weight loss, because that's the part that can be the most debilitating. So it's not that people physically cannot be in photos. It's not that people cannot physically buy clothes to fit their size. It's not that people cannot physically go to the pool or on holidays or whatever. But psychologically, we feel we cannot do these things. We do not want to be in photos. We do not want to buy new clothes. We do not want to meet up with certain friends in case they judge your weight gain. We don't want to go on holidays. We don't want to be seen in swimwear, whatever it might be. The list just goes on and on and on. So the psychological part of this is the most debilitating. And, it works for me. I know we all need to kind of put our own spin on things, but that's the part we have to not take lying down. Like for me, I kind of started thinking about what would fear have me do? And then, okay, let's do the opposite. So fear would be like, okay, Aoife, let's not go to the auditions for that amateur play until you lose more weight. Let's not start a business until you lose more weight. Let's not take any professional career photos until you lose more weight. They were some of mine, but you might have your own. And that is the part that we cannot play ball with, because as we are stopping life and as we are putting our life on hold, what's happening is our eating is going to be getting worse, because we are going to need to comfort eat, basically. As we make our life smaller and smaller with less activities and less nice things and less beauty treatments, less clothes, less friends, less YOLOing, less starting new things. Our life is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and quieter and quieter and quieter, and closer and closer and closer to the couch and the fridge. And so all we're left with is food and obsession about eating and weight. So we have to see that for what it is. And, you know, it's a big jump then when we ask ourselves, like, okay, what would my slim friend be doing? You know, or if I didn't have a weight problem, what decision would I make here? If I didn't have a weight problem and I felt crappy in all my clothes, would I buy new clothes? And the answer is yes. And, you know, if I didn't have a weight problem, would I be going on this holiday? And if the answer is yes, you have to go on the holiday. So you have to keep asking yourself, what would ideal weight you be doing? And then make sure you do that. Because it's like our life has to be conducive to a healthy weight. And, you know, if we keep everything the same, and if our relationship with our body and with food has just been rotting away over the years, like kind of slowly getting worse, well, we kind of have to take a look at our life and take a look at our life decisions and the decisions we're making in the day or the week that make us or keep us unhappy. And we have to turn it all around. We have to do a 180, because we have to make such a comfortable, fulfilling life that actually feeling kind of sick because we've eaten so much trash is a really weak option, you know, because we have now a buffet of things that make us feel good. And like, it'd be so cool to get used to accessing that buffet of things that make you feel good, so that every time you're like mocking yourself about your weight, you could just like compare and contrast. It's like, this is not how to have a fun evening. Like, if I got hit by a truck tomorrow, do I really want to spend the night obsessing about my thighs, or saying my whole life would be different if I was a size or two smaller? Because would it? It certainly wouldn't if you still had this mindset. So, you know, I suppose that's another thing I get to see in my clinic rooms, I suppose, is that someone's actual weight does not represent how messed up they are in their head, basically. And I might have said it before in other episodes, but actually don't trust what you see in the mirror. Like, I remember that really helped me. I remember being like, well, Aoife, consistently, you've never liked what you've seen in the mirror. So that doesn't really sound like a relative opinion. Like, if you had a friend that you always asked, oh, you know, do you think I should do this thing? And she only ever said no, I think you'd stop trusting her opinion, because she's clearly not taking in all the pros and cons. And it's the same if we look in the mirror and we've only ever seen a negative. I think you can pretty much know your brain is broken there in that department. So just take it for granted that what you're seeing when you look in the mirror is not what other people see. And I find it fascinating because I've been this weight before and had a lot of eating issues. And I know what I saw in the mirror was wildly different than what I saw in the mirror now, which is a bit trippy because I'm the same size as some of those times. But our brain could just be mental. So I would really take that with a pinch of salt, what you see, because especially if it's holding you back, especially if it's, you know, if you're coming out with the narrative that I'm not where I should be. This kind of goes back to my last point about we have to kind of love our body in order to want to protect it. You know, if we love our body, we'll kind of think that, you know what, it kind of doesn't deserve to feel sick going to bed. You know, this isn't about weight. This is just about being nice to my body. And if this protein bar is crap, yet again, it doesn't matter about weight. It doesn't matter about me manipulating my body so it loses weight. It's like, that's not fair to my body to have to house this tasteless cardboard of ultra processed ingredients, you know? So like, basically starting to become amigos with our body is super, super important. And in doing that, whatever way we can. So maybe we can't go from negative to positive, but like I say, let's take what we see in the mirror with a huge pinch of salt. Okay, my next one is, I would say if you're super serious about, say, 1 year's time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 20 years' time, this all being done and dusted, okay? Like, you're just someone who eats normally. Like, basically, you are that normal weight friend who orders chips when she orders chips, or she might have salad and soup at lunch because that's what she feels like. She's not trying to manipulate her body into losing weight. She just felt like a soup and a salad. And when she eats chips, it's because she wants to have chips. So if the happy ever after, if you're really, really looking for that, it is definitely that we leave the dieting gang. And sometimes I have to remind clients, and weirdly, actually, I just thought about this lately myself. Like, as I was coming to this whole kind of process of way of eating, way of thinking about our body or food or whatever, that I work now with clients, when I was kind of manufacturing this for myself, I left it so many times to go back to dieting, like so many times to go back to dieting. But, you know, every time you go back to dieting, it's kind of like, right, this time it's going to be different. And I'm going to pull up my socks. And then it always starts the same. You're doing quite well. And especially something like keto for me, I was like, this is just the way of the future. I just never need bread again. And you're feeling great. And you're definitely feeling lighter and all the rest of it. And then at a certain point, you know, it starts slipping more, and then you're out of control overeating or binging or whatever. And then whatever paltry losses I would have made, I would have really gained more than I had lost ultimately. And at a certain point, I was just like, just in a non-emotional way, this is not getting me closer to my goal. I'm not becoming closer to my slim best friend who doesn't diet. I'm actually becoming more of a weirdo. And also my body, you know, and like, even I'm hopefully going to do a podcast with one of my buddies, Gillian, on, you know, diet shows and the end of diet shows. But like, they've done studies on all those people in The Biggest Loser, and their metabolism was screwed because of all the times they'd forced their body on diets to lose weight and then regained it and then forced it to lose it again or whatever. So us not gaining weight, or us not gaining more weight over the next 6 months or the next year, has to be more important. Like, it has to be the most important thing, because it's the first step of losing weight, is really being willing to not gain it. And the first step of becoming a slim person who doesn't diet is not dieting. So we really have to make our peace with that. And so, say us not binging, and hopefully you're not weighing yourself anyway, but like, say us not binging, or at us having maybe, you know, wherever our starting point is, everyone's starting point is different. Our starting point could be, we used binge 4 nights a week or something. So if over the last month we've maybe binged like twice a week on average, that's cool. We want to sustain that, you know, or we want to build on that. Or, you know, say we're starting at another kind of point, like we're just like less over full going to bed now. There's more nights where we're going to bed less over full. Or there's more times where we've been able to be normal with crisps, or able to be normal with chocolate. Like, it didn't disrupt our entire day, or we didn't eat loads and loads of more packets or whatever. Like, that is crazy valuable. And that is what we have to start off with, because like, it really is, we have to remind ourselves that like, we cannot be happy ever after at a healthy weight unless we are a normal eater. Like, there is no other way around it. It's like wanting to get pregnant but not willing to have sex or something like that. It's like you can't have one without the other. So it's like, if our happy ever after with weight, if that's what we want, well, then we have to get the basics right of eating. And that's, you know, can be at times a slow progress, or, you know, at times progress can stall or pause or even go back. But ultimately, we have to go from baby infants to junior infants to senior infants to first class, second class, up to sixth class, up to leaving cert. You know, we have to go through all the milestones in a natural way. And every time we skip that and go back to dieting, like, you know, it's just lost us a little bit of time, basically. So it's not the good days we want to master, because probably the good days are not that good. They're not really good on a nutritional level ever, you know. They're not good on an emotional level. and they're not really good on a sustaining weight loss kind of level. So I think when we're dieters, we're focusing on these good days and how can I make the days so good and all the rest of it. Whereas actually we want to study what made the bad day come, like, you know, or the times I eat loads and loads and loads, what was behind that? Because I kind of think that when we eat loads and loads, usually it's because like this pressure valve has been increasing. Like the pressure has just been like building and building and building. And maybe it could have been like those cakes at work and we said no. And that took willpower. And so that's a bit more pressure. And then maybe we looked at photos and we decided to say, my God, my body is so wrong. I hate my body. I'm not where I meant to be. I need to diet loads. That might be more pressure. And like this pressure gauge can just build up, build up, build up. And then it's like, screw it. And then we eat it all. We eat everything. So we want to kind of study, how are we increasing that pressure valve? Like what's making us feel unsteady or urgent or anxious? Because like the whole thing is that you don't have to be in this body forever, but you do have to be this size today. And it is possible to be this size today and be a nice eater and have a nice time with food and respect your body's limits and have a positive, respectful relationship with food where it's memorable and you're having a high bar. You're not just eating stuff that doesn't taste nice or is going to make your belly feel a bit uncomfortable or is going to be like basically a waste of your time. You're not going to have any of that. So we don't need to be a different size today or to have a different body shape in order to get to a good place mentally and get to a good place with food and maybe even get to a more neutral place with our body. And, you know, I think that has to be where we focus on. So just like with everything with our weight loss, I kind of think everything is backwards to how you would think, because us kind of saying like, okay, I'm not going to have this body forever, you know, good or bad. We're not going to have this body forever. But I am going to have it today. And so where are my opportunities today to like have fun, basically have a really nice time being in this body? How can I dress it up? How can I treat it well? How can I feel well? All the stuff I said about food. And weirdly, us focusing on the day, you know, then we're just joining up all these days where we're acting way more like a person without a weight problem. And before you know it, we won't have a weight problem. But that is the opposite focus to someone being like, I can't be happy today because of my weight. You know, that's literally the opposite way of going about the day. And every day we spend in, how could I be happy at this weight? First of all, it's lies. You probably have been this weight or heavier and had a happy day or a memorable day at some stage. And also we know there are people the exact same weight as you today who are having a happy day. So it's not your weight per se that's making us unhappy, but us being unhappy about our weight could really feck up our weight basically, and could really feck up our eating. And then I think I'm on number 5 now. I'm definitely on number 5. So the fifth and last point, I would say, the simple rule is that you have to know your goal. So I don't know, on your Instagram, does it come up? I always get that like little clip of Oprah saying, most people don't get their goal because they don't know what their goal is. And it certainly is the same with eating and weight, because most people think that their goal is to lose weight. And it's like, yeah, cool. How many times have you lost that stone now and put it up? It's like, you might have lost that stone 3 times in your life. You might have lost that stone and put it back on again and lost it again, or maybe every 3 years on average a diet goes kind of well or something and you lose it and then you put it back on, and some people would be way more. Some people maybe by the time they're in their 50s or 60s, they've probably lost the same stone maybe even 5 or 6 times. So realistically, they freaking nailed their goal. Like, their goal was to lose weight. They've lost hundreds of pounds, you know, but just unfortunately maybe the same pounds over and over again. So I really think it's important to get it out of your mind that weight loss is your goal. Weight loss is not your goal. Being a slim person is your goal. That's my word. That might be a horrible triggering word for you. But, whatever phrase you want to put on it, like a healthy weight, someone without a weight problem, like some people might like skinny, whatever, whatever your word is, basically. So it's like, it's the end point. It's kind of like, sorry, I'm 38, so a lot of my analogies are either work related or pregnancy related. But it's kind of like, no one is like, oh man, like I'd really love pregnancy. I'm so interested in pregnancy. Pregnancy is the goal. Generally, pregnancy isn't really the goal. The goal is they want to be a mother or they want to have a kid. Like, the kid is the goal. Having the kid is the goal. And equally, you don't really want the trying part of it. Like, you don't want the, trying to lose weight part. Like, that's the how. That's none of your business how the how takes place. There's a little bit more magic to that. And like I said, all the stuff about like, how we suddenly start acting and how we start treating ourselves, and a high bar for how we feel in our clothes and how we eat. And I could go on with all of that, but the how is none of your business, really. The goal is what you have to keep reminding yourself of. So the goal is, you are just going to be someone who, like, actually, like, for me now, to be honest, I don't actually have that much of an interest in nutrition. Like, I really had an interest in nutrition because I wanted to lose weight, and that's ultimately a big reason why I got a degree in nutrition and dietetics. But I don't really care that much. I only cared about nutrition because I didn't want to be overweight, is the God's honest truth. And I've achieved that now, so I don't fully care. Of course, I'm like in line with all my guidelines, and I take care of my clients, and I've got a master's in nutritional medicine, and I know what I'm talking about. But from a personal level, I don't have an interest in nutrition. And we get to that place where your weight and your eating is just something way in the background of your life. Like, maybe that would be cool, that it's way, 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 way in the background of your life. You're not someone who defines yourself as someone with a weight problem, or it's not something you talk about. It's not something that's open for conversation. Like, really, what you eat is pretty much, or what someone else eats is as interesting as when they need to go to the toilet. It's like, it's got nothing to do with you and your body and what you need. So keeping that goal in mind, that is the end point. Like, you just getting on with your life, reaching all your other goals, or all the interesting stuff, or feeling how you want to feel. Maybe you want to feel lean, maybe you want to feel energetic, whatever it might be. Like that, like, they are the goals. So not weight loss. So, our subconscious wants to get back anything we've lost. Loss isn't a good word, basically. So let's get it out of our vocabulary. Let's focus on becoming slim. And with that, can we do a little guided visualization? So basically, right, I think we just need to give our subconscious a little nudge every day. Our subconscious mind is a little bit like Google Maps. And just be like, hey, Google Maps, this is where I'm going. Hey, Google Maps, this is where I'm going. And so we're just kind of retraining our brain. Just a little reminder every day. I've heard some really good advice lately, and it makes a lot of sense. You actually don't want to do a ton of visualization in your day of your goal, because you might just start getting disappointed and depressed that you haven't already got it, or all the other times that it's failed or whatever. So we just want a light, like, tap on the shoulder of the universe that, like, hey, by the way, this is where I'm going to end up. So with that, if you're not driving, if you're somewhere where you can just take a moment, maybe close your eyes if you can, maybe take some deep breaths in, and maybe put your hand on your heart and feel it beating. Okay, so I'm going to set the scene for you. It's sometime in the future, but act as if it's right now, okay? So feel the feelings like it's right now, but you're walking into a restaurant to meet a friend, and you're wearing a lovely guna, you're wearing a lovely dress, and you feel really well. Like, you just have this feeling that you haven't felt this confident in ages. So just feel that feeling of confidence now. Just feeling so lovely in what you're wearing. And your shoulders are back and your chin is up and you're just quietly proud to be you. It's okay to be you. You're proud of where you are, who you are, and you're feeling really lovely in this dress. So, or whatever outfit. So then you go to the table and you take a seat and you meet your friend and you're super excited. Oh, what are you getting? What are you getting on the menu? She's picked out her lovely thing. And then your senses, your instincts, your intuition guide you to a certain part of the menu, a certain thing on the menu. And you could really imagine yourself tasting that and it being gorgeous. And you can really imagine eating it and it being a lovely experience as you're eating it. And you can imagine the feeling in your belly being really, really nice once it's in there. So you confidently and happily order that when the waiter comes around. And then you bespoke it in any way that you want to, whether it's extra sauce or extra cheese or none of this or whatever, to make it so beautiful and perfect for you. Because you are the type of person who really respects food now. You are the type of person who really respects the experience of eating. And you want to optimize it. And you want to use food to feel good. So here you are in the restaurant now, and you're ordering exactly what your body will like. And there's not another human on the planet that could tell you in this moment what your body will feel good from. And so your friend compliments you on how well you're looking. And maybe if she's a friend that you've confided in before, she comments on like how free and easy you are with food. How, you seem so chill about it all now. Like you're looking gorgeous and you seem to be in a really, really good place with eating, and that you're just kind of glowing. Like maybe it's the heavy weight gone off your shoulders, all the stress, all the overthinking has moved to trusting yourself, trusting your stomach, trusting your instincts, trusting your taste buds, and believing that you deserve to feel good. So that's just a basic for you now, trusting that you deserve to feel good. And you take the compliments happily as she says them. And then you're eating this beautiful meal and you're so in tune with your body. You're so in tune with the parts of it that are tasting more nice than others. And you're so aware of the feeling of your stomach filling up. And you get to this point where your stomach just feels wonderful. And you're so confident to just stop there. Because there will be more food later. There always is. You are a very independent, confident type of person now with food. And when you want to get your hands on something, when it's going to help you and help you to feel physically good or emotionally good, you will be eating it. You don't need any permission. Doesn't need to be a certain day of the week. You just always honor your right to feel good and take care of yourself and take care of your body. And so you say your goodbyes and you get up from the table and you're feeling so nice. And you remember what a revelation this is. How cool is it to go to a restaurant, order exactly what you want, savor it, love the experience, be there with the food, and also be leaving feeling really nice, feeling really comfortable in your body. And wasn't that the point? Wasn't that why you went to the restaurant? To feel good, to come out of there feeling good. And you gave them money to give you food that would make you feel good. And you just remember all the other days, all the times where you might have had anxiety or a lot of pressure or a lot going on in your mind when you were in restaurants. All that heaviness, all those rules, all those wrongs or rights or goods or bads, all those times that you had pathetic little meals that you didn't really want just to be good, or all those times you stuffed your face and felt rotten because you were on a bad day. And how pleased and proud you are now that that is no longer the case. So just muster that feeling inside you now of it all being behind you. That kind of eating where you hurt yourself is in the past. You don't deserve that. And you know that. And so now all you want to do is make every day like this day, where you eat in a way that allows you to make memories and honor your body's limits and honor its individual needs. So just take a big deep breath in now and just imagine what that feeling would be like. That you're just the type of person that is the coolest with food. It's all in the past. All those issues are in the past now. And you are confident in how you eat and confident in listening to your body's own signals. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this episode in general. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Lots of love. Mwah.